I end up ill, being without you, making me ill, stressing me out. I need to chill, something that's strong, gotta be real. Nothing of no one, show my skill. You fill my every desire. Oh yes you did. When I'm with you, you take me higher. Oh you are easy, yeah. Yes you are, yeah, yeah. When I go, I'll come back. I'll come back. I can't seem to find a way to escape how I feel. I can't wait no longer. Please come give a dose to me. Cravings getting stronger. I need you now, close to me. You're my aphrodisiac. You're the need. When I go, I come back. There's no way I'm leaving. Yeah, aphrodisiac. Yes, you are. When I need. When I go, I'll come back. There is no way I'm leaving. You're my aphrodisiac. You're the only one I need. When I go, I'll come back. I will come back. There is no way I'm leaving. You're my aphrodisiac. Yes, you are the one I need. When I go,
Guests are here. Come back with your food, please. Goodness, so yes, it is popping right now. People are getting food, people are getting drinks. The vibe is alive. We are about to air and launch and premiere the show Coffee Break. I'm going to do a countdown, guys. So if you're watching, make sure you count down with me in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coffee Break!
It's Coffee Break with Harold.
All right, my guest for today's episode of Coffee Break, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this lady is somebody that I've grown to know. You know, I remember when I first started my career, she was there. She saw it all. You know, we made mistakes together. We laughed together. We cried together. We boarded short together. Did all those crazy stuff together, and today she's seated right here on our hot seat. Now, Ashoko Mensah.
Hey!
Welcome to the show.
Charlie, thank you. Because of the chocho.
Did we not? Did you not
Yes,
chocho
we
together?
did. From circle to fun ice.
From circle to fun ice,
We
or
walked,
from fun ice to circle.
We walked the rest of the way.
And then you jump on your Tinungwa extension, and then I'll just walk to Asalam down.
Charlie.
Yeah.
This is how far the Lord has brought us.
I know, but listen, how have you managed to come this far?
Charlie Harold, I have no idea. Sometimes I don't believe how far I have come, and too many times I forget. You know, there are many times when I get messages in my inbox and I'm not sure what they're talking about. People text me and say, "Oh, no, I really appreciate this and that and that," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." I honestly forget when I'm walking down the road that people might know or recognize me. I still do the things that I do. I mean, I came here with Wachi, didn't I? I still do the things I do, or the things I've always done as me. And so too often I forget where I am now, and I'm actually really grateful for that because then it keeps me in check. So I'm not all in my head, feeling cooler than I ought to. So I'm grateful for the ability to still, be just that girl from Teshi who would take trotro and, go to work, execute it perfectly, and go back to the cocoa line. I'm totally cool with that, and I hope I never forget.
Wow, that's actually very interesting to know. Now, most people, start off their career wanting to be famous. Others just start with a burning desire to, just carry out their desire to be a creative. What was it for you in the beginning?
I think you just put it in perfect words. I did not start out looking to be famous. And I have not thought at any point that I am famous. And so, in the beginning, the very first day I was on TV, I was with you. We were a New Generation together. First day, day
and
one.
I've always said it.
And you were this fresh mobile boy. And I was this girl from Binkum Secondary School. And I was hoping you don't ask me. Because you were just going on about how,
Infancy boys will not let you sleep.
From Infancy Film. And there was another Infancy Film boy on the show that day.
Yes.
And I was just hoping you don't ask me.
Would you say that made you marry an Infancy Film old boy?
Charlie,
because you settled with that we'll get into that later, but let's continue with your story.
So from that day, if you remember, all of us were freaking out. We were very grateful for the opportunity. You, Harold, though, it wasn't such a big deal for you. You were very composed. It's TV time. And me, I was like,
what's going on
here? Like, Charlie, I had no makeup on. I had walked, I think that day I walked from GIJ to police headquarters, took Trotro to Circle, walked from Circle all the way to TV Africa, and used Fan Ice to cool my face.
Wow.
So I didn't even have makeup on. Wow. It wasn't about, okay, it's time to be famous. It was about, this is an amazing opportunity. Let me do great. So that's how it started for me.
How did that New Generation gig even come about?
Charlie, it's something I'm not so proud of him because, well, first of all, I was a guest on the show because every time TV Africa came over to GIJ to do Vox Pops, which they did very often, I was all about how can I help you? Can I bring you people? I'm going to come, don't worry, I'm going to bring them. So I go and find people to come and participate in the Vox Pop. People were generally shy of the camera. People didn't want, what are they going to ask me? What if I, that kind of thing. But, I was the girl who would always be like, Newman, don't worry, I'll convince them. You go with me, Baba. And then I go and bring people to talk. So I became friends with Newman.
Who's Newman?
Newman was the person who put me on TV.
Okay.
Newman is the person who put me on TV.
He was working at TV Africa at
he was
the
a director for New Generation, the TV show.
Yeah.
So I used to see him often. And so we struck an acquaintance. So one day he needed in-studio guests, and then he asked if I wanted to come. I said, I have nothing to wear. My mother still bought my clothes for me then. And so you can imagine my clothes. I was wearing 3 sisters. So I went down the road to a tailor called Village. And I had some tie and dye fabrics. I still wear tie and dye.
Tie and dye.
So, I went to him and then he made me something very quickly. And then I came on New Generation on that day with it. I think we had a really great show on that day.
As a guest, right?
Yeah, as a guest.
And that's when we met.
Yeah, we had a great show. It was a really good show.
Yeah, it was.
I had everyone in my town, everyone from Teshin watching it. My father had my whole extended family watching that show.
Same here.
And so it was really good, and I looked for more opportunities.
I'm just getting goosebumps because I can so remember it.
Yeah, it was really good. So the next time I came, the host of the show was not available.
Kwatua.
Yes. She had an exam and then she was ill also. So they asked if any of us
and they needed a female in particular.
Host. Yes, and they needed a girl.
Yes.
So I said, okay.
Why not?
Why not? Hey, why not? If I try and I fail, I know I failed. But what if I don't try? And I keep wondering, what if I had done it? What if I could do it? So I thought, let me try and fail. My mother always says that, try. If you fail, you know you can't do it. But if you don't try, you go home thinking, what if? And that day was horrible. I don't know if you remember. But the show was so bad that
I do remember, but not as much as you, because that was a big day for you as well.
They made us stop the show. So basically, they made us just do the middle of the show, the conversation bit, and then the intro and outro. They waited for everyone to go.
And then they
asked me to do it. It took me approximately 4 hours to intro and outro that show. The intro and outro is a maximum of 50 seconds,
50 seconds,
40
yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
But it took us about 4 hours to film it. It was bad. I cried. You know, and Makafu Izimrani would say, look, don't cry. You can do it. Let's just keep doing it. I said, yeah, I know I'll do it, but I just need to cry for a moment. Just give me a moment. Let me just, you know.
Let it all out.
Yeah. And we kept doing it. It was really horrible. I went home, feel like my ego was deflated.
Yeah.
I just felt like an absolute loser.
But it came out and it wasn't that
Honey,
bad.
the power of editing. That show was so good.
Yeah.
I asked for a copy.
Yeah.
I gave it to my father, who gave it to everybody.
Yeah.
That show was so good.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a news article about me in The Spectator after that show.
Regarding that episode?
Yes. So I hosted New Generation just for about a month.
Then you moved on.
And then
to
I was
something
given
else.
another show to
Which
do.
was?
Daybreak News.
Daybreak News.
Daybreak Entertainment News.
Daybreak Entertainment News. That was a segment on their morning
It
show.
was a segment on the morning show, which was just supposed to just come and pass through. But I said, me, I'm not coming to pass through. We are going to do it. Let's produce it. Let's add the inserts. You know, let's get someone to make me cool T-shirts so that, you know, on the news, on the Daybreak show, they wear African print kaba and slits. But I want to come on in a T-shirt so that it looks cooler. And, you know, I came with all these things and I was like, everybody was like, okay, let her do it. Let's see what it would look like. Because you know how TV Africa is. Supposed to wear African print and, you know.
Yeah.
So I came with my T-shirts and asking that I don't present Daybreak Entertainment News on the morning show sets, but I wanted to pre-record it in the artist lounge where there were couches and, you know. So actually it was supposed to be a passing through segment. But by the time we were done with it, we had produced a nice segment which could stand alone as a show. I did Daybreak Entertainment News for some time, and then Kwanzaa told Newman to ask me to understudy Jifa. Jifa Smith was the host of the morning show,
At the time.
as in the morning show itself. How old? I was like 18 or 19.
Very young.
How old were we? Like 19?
Very young. Yeah,
We're
just
very
about that
young,
age.
Just about
but
19.
you were doing all these things, and then, you know, I don't know. People thought you were old.
I know. People still think I'm 50. Like, guys,
Yeah, people thought you were old. I
I'm
remember
32 years old.
anytime I tell people that I'm older than Nash Okor, they'll be like, you must be crazy. Like, how can you be older than Nash
I
Okor?
know.
You know?
Because when I started tying Gele on TV, I was 19.
You were 19. You were 19. And it's actually very, very, very inspiring to hear. So how long were you at TV Africa for?
I was at TV Africa for just about 2 years, actually. It felt like it was much longer.
Because you did a lot.
Yeah.
There was passion.
I learned everything I know from TV Africa. I kid you not. I still practice what I learned from TV Africa. I'm really glad I started off my career at TV Africa. I'm glad I didn't start off anywhere else. Any of the
Why would you say
that? Because at TV Africa, the person in charge of the show was Kwanzaa. And Kwanzaa is a seasoned filmmaker. He does the right thing. Even if nobody will watch it, even if nobody cares, even though if everybody disagrees, what is right is what you will do. And I believe that's the kind of foundation you need as a broadcaster. So Kwanzaa told me a couple of things. Like he'll say, now, when the cameras are rolling, as soon as we say action, you don't break character until we say cut. Whether you are going on commercial break, whether there's an insert play. You know, normally when an insert is playing, that's when people start chatting. Can I get bring me water?
So.
No, this is me.
Wow.
We'll play 9 commercials.
So he pretty much
And you just stay there. You sit there like
values of
Abojaba.
filmmaking, values
Exactly.
of TV.
You just stay there. And so these things are
Have stuck with you
lessons
pretty
that have
much.
stuck with me. And I feel like I was trained at some really fancy broadcasting institution because these things, I've never heard them anywhere else.
And all this while you were at GIJ.
All this while, I was a student journalist at GIJ. He taught me how to interview. I mean, at that point, I was 19. I was interviewing politicians every morning on the morning show. And I didn't know a thing about politics. I didn't even know how many political parties were in Ghana. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know, who the wife of the vice president was. I didn't know anything. You know, I was just a girl who raised with Valley High. So it was like a whole new world for me. And I really immersed myself. And I had good mentorship. And Kwanzaa believed in me. And he was like, what is your name? I said, Mysterine. He said, Minnie.
That is where you actually started using Nash
He said,
Okor.
we'll call you now.
I remember on New Generation, you were using Nisi.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's how,
And that's how Nash Okor
That's how
became
Nash
Nash
Okor. Nash
Okor.
Okor is my local name. from Teshi. Even at home, they called me Coco, But then Ashoko is the second daughter from Teshi. So,
Well, guys, my guest on today's episode, like I said, is Nashoko, and we have been having a very interesting conversation right here. You can see it's been a very long journey. Stick with us. When we come back, you'll hear more.
It's coffee break with Harold.
Welcome back. Now, so tell me, I mean, all this has happened. Your career pretty much had been set. How is it a deliberate attempt? Because you have a very, very private life, right? Your non-professional life is very private. How is that with all the popularity you have?
So I'm married. I have 2 sons. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Have I shielded them, you said? Well, I don't know. I just like to keep what's mine.
Is it because of other people's bad experiences, or it's just something that?
No, even before I became somewhat popular, I wasn't. I mean, Facebook. I remember getting on Facebook in university. I saw my friends always posting their boyfriends and stuff, but I just never felt like I wanted to do that. And not just my husband or my boyfriend back then or my children, but even my parents or my best friends or the people who are very close to me. I like to keep them close.
You would never know who Nashoko is dating. I mean, you would never know who she's hanging out with. I mean, even on your wedding day, you didn't post your husband. You didn't post your husband. The pictures were all about your guest and you, except your husband. So okay, really, what's going on here?
Harold, when you really love something, you want to protect it with all you have. And in our world today, one sure way to keep the people who you love protected is to keep them away from the many people who can hurt them just because you posted a picture of them. I've seen beautiful pictures of babies and people come and write the meanest things, and then moms break down, right? A mother will break down if you said something about her child that she did not agree with. Mothers break down. I have seen this happen. A friend of mine posted these amazing pictures of her daughter, and then somebody came to write something crazy, and she was there responding, and they will respond, and she will respond, and I said, honey,
take a break.
Pick up your child. Look at her. Is what they said true? No. That's all that matters. Remove the photo. Focus on your baby. Forget it. It's very difficult nowadays, Harold, to just be yourself. And so while that is hard, if you share some of that with the world and it is met with a lot of things that you don't agree with, sometimes they're not even mean. Sometimes it's just something you don't agree with. Like someone says, oh, how come your baby is darker than you? And who is the father? Something. People say that. It will hurt you and break you. You don't need that. You really don't need that. On top of all the struggles that come with being a mother. Harold, being a mother is the most difficult thing I have ever had to do in my entire life, and I've done difficult things.
Especially when you have boys.
Look, trying to have a baby is hard. Being pregnant is hard.
The birth process.
Giving birth to the human being is hard. Breastfeeding is hard. Losing weight, if you want to lose weight after having a baby, dressing up after having a baby is hard. Even your complexion becomes like 200 different shades of a different person. Stretch marks, flabby skin, wrinkles.
It's a lot.
Even a change in personality.
And
depression.
especially if you have to be on camera with all that.
It's a whole thing. So I would rather deal with it
privately.
And I think, well, we're all different. I mean, some people are happier, when, it's out there and everybody is happy for you. I can imagine how amazing that must be. But
let's talk about your husband, Kabute. Kabute is someone who is a very private and very, very calm person.
Yes.
Naturally, aside the fact that you're hiding him from us.
I have not.
How did you meet him?
I met him in school. I met him at GIJ. I think I met him on my second day at school. I was looking for a hostel.
Okay.
And he was part of student leadership then. So he and a few friends of his had put up some posters on campus.
Oh,
with
he
their
was at
phone
GIJ
numbers.
too?
Yeah, he was at GIJ. He was 4 years my senior, 3 years my senior. He was in final year when I came in.
Okay.
So they had put up posters with their phone numbers. Like, if you're looking for a hostel, call these numbers. So I called him. And that's how I met him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you called him that you wanted
Yeah,
a
I told
place.
him. So my friend Akosia and I went to see him and his gang and his friends who had put up a poster about, come and call us and let's help you find a hostel. So we went to see him, and then we became friends. So his friends, it was him, Malik, and another guy, and then there was Akosia, myself, and Selena. So we went to see them, and then they took us around to see some places in the neighborhood, and we became friends. So we started talking a lot, hanging out on campus. I mean, we were new, and they were student leadership, so
experience.
yeah,
hardcore.
they knew everything. They had all the notes, all the pamphlets, all the photocopies.
Did you know
and
he
all
was
of
the
that.
one right from that day?
No, but I knew I wanted him to be my friend.
What about him?
He's really smart. Like,
He's an Infanspring boy. What do you expect?
You guys.
So you knew. Okay, so you knew you wanted.
Yeah, I just knew immediately that I would like to be friends with this person, and because he was really smart and cool. No giddy giddy, no basa basa, no yeah hey hey. No, this is him. Like, this is his.
Would you
his
say
tone
there
all
was
the time.
there was some form of attraction, opposite attracting, because you are very energetic and very bubbly and all that? Do you think? Yes, I think so. Do you think there was a bit of
Harold,
attraction
do you
in
know
the
that-
opposite direction? Would you say you're a calm person now, Shoko?
I am.
Guys, be my judge. She said she's calm.
Harold, you know I'm very quiet.
You are not.
Really?
Well, not that I think.
I am. Oh.
But it's
Have you-
okay.
have you seen me in a
It's okay
crowded
because
place?
that's what makes you who
I'm
you are.
like-
We love you for that.
I'm in my head a lot. So when I'm with people, I'm in my head. If you don't talk to me, I can sit down for 5 hours without saying a word in a room full of people talking. If they don't speak to me, I'll be
You wouldn't say that.
totally fine by myself.
Guys, you know how we do it on Coffee Break? The show gets more interesting. Don't go
Coffee
nowhere.
break with Harold.
Welcome back to the show. Still with Nashoko. Now, how's it going?
Good, really good.
Feeling all right?
Yep, thank
Okay.
you.
Now, apart from all that we've talked about, I've talked about so many things I admire about you. I'm not going to go into the things I don't, because I have very little things I don't like about
Tell
you.
me.
Do I even have any?
Tell me.
I doubt. But we'll get into
Tell
that.
me. You
We'll
must
get into
tell
that.
you
We'll
must
get
tell
into that
you
before
mu-
we finish.
No, you must
okay,
tell
maybe you're too energetic. If that makes you sleep at night. But now tell me, there's one thing that I've observed. It's like I Google Nashok and I can't find a single scandal. I can't find a single negative news about your brand.
In all honesty, Harold, some people are just doing their work, but then these scandals will find you. That's the honest truth. Some people are just doing their work and living their lives and just trying their very best to serve. But these scandals find them. So every time I read scandals about some of our colleagues, and I know that this person didn't go and look for this situation, or this person didn't invite this thing, it breaks my heart. I pray with them. I pray for them, because some people never recover from these things. And so I would say that let us be very careful with the way we talk about people and their scandals, because sometimes they didn't invite it. They didn't see it coming. They didn't do anything to deserve that unfortunate situation. And so let's be careful how we talk about them, and let us know that it can happen to anyone. And the fact that it hasn't happened to you doesn't mean that you are perfect or you are, being careful. You can never be too careful. Anything
Have you ever
can
been
happen
close
to
to coming to getting into a scandal?
No, I haven't. And I can only be grateful to God for it. And I can only be grateful to the people who, guide me and teach me and hold me, because I have people. I'm not just by myself and on my own. No, I have people in my corner. I have people who hold me, there's nothing I do without running by my people.
Nah, thank you for coming.
Harold, I'm so glad I came.
And congratulations on everything that you've done this far. I know there are bigger things coming your way.
Amen.
I have no doubt about that at all. Keep up.
Amen.
Nisirina Ashokomden Sadoku has been my guest on Coffee Break today. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had a full day. And I hope you had too. Remember, same time next week, we are back on your screens with yet another episode of the show. Thank you for sticking with us. My name is Harold. Bye-bye.
Wagwan! There. Question. Should a man make a woman wait 90 days for sex? Nah, man. I can't even wait 3 days. Yeah, man. Men should have more dignity and more respect for themselves. I mean, 90 days might be a stretch, but it's not a bad idea. Maybe a month. What do you think?
I don't think I am. I have a fetish for this thing doesn't mean I am.
It's actually interesting that we had 2 guys saying that no.
No, yeah. It's very, it blows my mind. Eh?
Even in the Bible, it's a sin. So you have to swallow it for it to be good. Wow!
Watch X Game every Friday night at 10 p.m. to catch all the excitement right here on MX24.